racing are guaranteed. But when the checkered flag falls, who will claim the win? Well, welcome back to Autodrom Most here in the Czech Republic for the first weekend ever in Eastern Europe for the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, which means it's the first ever Czech NASCAR Grand Prix. Most became the permanent motor racing facility back in the former Czechoslovakia, now the Czech Republic, when it opened in 1983. Though the history of racing in this local area goes back decades. The first motorsport in the area came when motorcycle races were organised around the streets of one of the breweries in the middle part of the 1940s, and multiple configurations on the road course were tried before finally it was decided to build this circuit, which opened in 1983. And the fans have been flocking here ever since, and even more so this weekend to enjoy the racing they saw earlier on from the Elite 1 division of the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, and will now see the Elite 2 division competitors out on track for the first time this weekend for round 7 of the championship. Beautiful blue skies. The fans are certainly enjoying it, and it's my first visit to this circuit, a wonderful circuit. Which comprises, well, some 17 turns are identified on our graphic. There is actually, if you count a couple of the kinks, 21 if you count the small kinks. And it's a fairly long circuit as well. It's 2.624 miles or 4.222 kilometres to be absolutely precise. We've seen some great racing already around the track, and there's local interest as well this weekend here at Autodrom Most, because competing in the Elite 1 division and competing in the Elite 2 division, we have the only Czech driver that is on the grid, which is Martin Dubek. So there'll be plenty of support for him throughout the course of this weekend. And Martin was able to dive on board. Let's have a look around the track with Martin Dubek.
Hello NASCAR fans, I am Martin Dubek, and let's watch my onboard video here in OM Max Motion NASCAR Show 2019 in Most. So let's start. The first corner is turn right. It's really difficult to find braking zone here. Second gear brakes, turn right, jump over the curb, use the curb. Full throttle, use the outside curb. Little bit move on inside, full gas, third gear, fourth gear, brake really hard, second gear, jump over the curb, use inside curb, full throttle, jump over the curb again, full throttle, and brake really hard. Second gear, full throttle. This corner, it will be really nice for overtaking, full throttle, fourth gear, and we are going to the fastest corner. Third gear, brakes, full throttle, use the curb. Now go up to the hill. Brakes. Second gear, use the curb inside. Move to inside. Use the curb, full throttle now. Third gear, use the curb. Full throttle, fourth gear. And we are going to the last corner. It'll be a really nice zone for overtaking. Brake really hard. Second gear. Use the curb. Full throttle. Full throttle. Third gear. Hello Ariana. Full throttle. And here we are. Thank you NASCAR fans. I hope that you enjoy my onboard video, and I hope you will cross fingers for me.
So a fantastic insight of what it's like to drive one of these Euro NASCAR V8 engined machines around Autodrom Most. And the driver that's sitting to my left at the moment knows exactly about that. He joined me in the commentary box at Hockenheim last year. He was out racing in the Elite 1 division race earlier on. Alexander Graf joins me for this race. Welcome along, Alexander. Warm conditions in the commentary box, warm conditions in the car, I would imagine, in your race.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me here, and it's been a pleasure to be here at Most, the Autodrom in Czech Republic, which is a really good circuit and a really good weather, and it's freaking hot.
It is rather hot, yeah, it is rather hot to say the least. Your race, you know, we saw, we'll talk about Elite 2 in a moment. The cars will be heading out onto the grid very shortly. But your race, you were involved in some good battles there. I saw you fighting away with Francesco Cini. Gianmarco Ercoli managed to catch you as well. You were in the thick of the action. Yeah, we had a really good race, actually. I was starting a little bit in the back. I started P13, which was not so good. I would like to be in the Super Bowl, but we didn't manage to be there. But the race was good. I ended up P9 and had a really good fight, as you said, against a couple of guys, yes. You returned for your second season this year in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. You were a one-car team last year. You're a two-car team this year.
Yep.
Does that make things better because you've then got two lots of data and drivers to feed from, or does that make things harder because from an engineering point of view and a race preparation point of view, you've got double the work?
Yeah, of course. It's to double the work, of course. But I think that we can learn more things than we did last year. We have more guys that have more input in everything. So I think it's better to be a two-car team than a single-car team. But this race was maybe sometimes in the race I would like to have another driver in front of me than my teammate. So sometimes you win, sometimes you lose some. But in the end, I think it's better to be more cars than a single
You're
car.
referring to Henry Tuimala there, who,
yeah, exactly.
who I've got to say, you know, the number 23 car, the sister car of Henry Tuimala in Elite 1 and Ian-Eric Varden in Elite 2, that has gone, or Eric Ian Varden, has gone beautifully well this year, hasn't it? It's gone well.
For sure. It's they've done really good, and they do really good progress for every time they been on a new racetrack. I mean, for them, all tracks are new. It's only Hockenheim last year they have done before, and Henka did Zolder also last year. So for those guys, this is brand new for all the tracks we are coming to.
Well, I think what we can do is we already had a race earlier on today for the Elite 1 division, which you were competing in. So as we await the arrival of the Elite 2 cars onto the grid, let's have a quick look back at some of the action from just earlier on today in Elite 1. Well, as the cars headed down towards turn number 1, it was a clean start for Loris Hazemans. Nicola Rocca slotted himself through into second place, and Stinis Longines at the wheel of the sister car was in third. Jacques Villeneuve and the reigning champion Alan Day ran side by side through the first corner, and after losing a few places on the first lap at the wheel of the yellow number 54 Cal Racing Chevrolet, the reigning champion dropped down to 8th at the end of the first lap and was trying to haul his way back through and past double champion Luca Lasser. Contact then caused a left rear puncture to Alan Day, which brought him into the pit lane. Contact at the chicane put Salvador Tinio Arroyo into a spin as Romain Iniesta tagged the tail end of him. Then there was more damage to the number 54 Cal Racing car. It shed its bumper, and for the second time in the race, Alan Day headed back into the pit lane. Number 12, Francesco Cini, was under pressure from Alexander Graf, who sits to my left-hand side, but Graf himself was getting caught by Gianmarco Ercoli, the former Elite 2 champion. As the race wore on, tyres became an issue in the warm temperatures. We saw a few drivers locking their brakes in a heavy braking area in towards the chicane. And the battles continued down towards the bottom of the top 6 as well. Luca Lasser under enormous pressure from Sebastian Bleekie-Molen, having his best run in the championship so far. The rookie with huge amounts of experience, but largely in front-wheel drive cars rather than the rear-wheel drive V8s. He managed to try and sneak his way through and past Luca Lasser, as Lasser, one of many drivers, made a mistake heading in towards turn number 1 and turn number 2, the new chicane that was installed some years ago here at Autodrom Most. And for our race leader, it was all going to plan, and then all went terribly wrong for Loris Hazemans. The engine blew as he was heading into the braking area at turn number 1, brought instant retirement for the man who was surely on for his second win in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, and a rather dejected Dutchman stepped away from the Hendricks Motorsport Ford into retirement. A small fire was dealt with by the officials. The oil on the circuit brought out the safety car, and as a result of there being so much oil on the track, it was decided rather than finish under green, white, checkered, we would finish under the safety car. So Nicola Rocca came through to grab the race victory his 4th ever victory in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. He headed towards victory lane and enjoyed the celebrations. It was a fantastic start to our racing weekend here at Circuit Most, and after all of that action in Elite 1, looking back at the highlights, there was a lot going on.
Yeah, it was a lot going on. I mean, we missed the thing that after Loris blew his engine up, we had a situation where I gained 3 positions, but I was not able to have them because of the rules. We need to switch back if the safety car is going out. So I was up at 6, and then I ended up P9. So quite happy with that.
Unfortunately, the likes of Luca Lasser lost the podium because of that, because other cars were on the oil, had to shortcut the chicane because they were on the oil, which means that those that took the chicane gained places. But yeah, as you suggested, we go back to the lap before the incident and the reordering. It cost you. It cost Luca Lasser a podium, which was hugely unfortunate. You look at Elite 2 this year, you know, the car that is scheduled to start on pole position, I'm just going to hang around because the camera is going to come round, and if we look towards pole position where the number 1 is there, that could be empty, that slot, because that is the car that we've just seen have the engine failure in the hands of Loris Hazemans. Hendricks Motorsport have been working flat out to try and get Giorgio Maggi, the championship leader, on the grid, and we'll wait and see as to whether he is indeed going to make it. So we'll keep our fingers crossed that's the case.
Nicola Rocca, the first ever win at the Most Autodrom. Well, how do you feel?
Man, it feels so good. It feels really good, honestly. First of all, I'm really sorry for Loris because it was a really tough race. I pushed so hard, and I guess he was pushing so hard as well. And it's such a shame that he finished that way, because I thought that I could have catch him, and then at that point it would have been better for the fans as a battle between us. But you know what? That's motorsport, and you gotta embrace it. So right now, yeah, I'm over the moon. So happy. Thanks to everyone. Pole position for tomorrow. So yeah, it feels great. It feels great.
All right, your race winner, Nicola Rocca.
So that was the reaction from Nicola Rocca after winning that race under safety car. And there was a smile on his face, so he was happy with the points, but he was very much a sportsman there. So you know,
of course, you can be happy for a victory. You need to be that. I mean, but it's sportsmanship to actually almost give the win to Loris, because he did a. Oh, look, there was the car.
They've made it.
Nice job. That
is
teamwork. That is teamwork. I know the feeling. We had the same last year with De Flandre in our car, so all the best to the guys in Hendricks Motorsport. They have done a tremendous good job. So
you would never know, would you, that there were issues with that number 50 car just a matter of hours ago. Even before we just came into the commentary box, Alexander, I wandered down to Hendricks Motorsport and spoke briefly to Giorgio Maggi. Remember, he is the championship leader coming into this one, only by 4 points, and said to him, are you going to make the grid? And he said, I really don't know, Mark. I just don't know. It was so touch and go, but to turn the car around and replace the engine in the time they've had, wow.
Yeah, it's really good, and I mean it is his first pole position, so who didn't want to have him on the first position?
And if you're Giorgio Maggi at the moment, you know, under the instructions of the team, you come out of the pit lane, you drive for the first lap around this track, not at great speed because it's coming up onto the grid, but you will be watching all of the gauges, you'll be watching the oil pressures, you'll be watching the temperatures, because that is your installation lap, isn't it?
Of course, yeah, it is. And you need to feel that everything is good, even if you can't go flat out. You need to see that everything is working, that the gauges are having all the temperatures that they need to have, and you don't want to see the red light.
You certainly do not. You'll be listening for noises, you'll be looking for vibrations,
you'll be feeling everything.
Making sure that it goes neatly into the gears, because of course they'll have to have disassembled all of the transmission to fit the engine. So it's an exploratory lap, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So there is, I mean, for me, we talk about the Scandinavians that are here. Lasse Sorensen, the outside of the front row of the grid. What a staggering individual he is, really. It's only his 5th NASCAR race, so he's competed already in 4 NASCAR races. He's won 3 of them, and 1 of them from the back of the grid. Yeah,
it was so good race in Brands Hatch for him, and I was watching it, and I didn't think. I couldn't even believe my eyes, actually, because you can't start from the back and win the race, but he did a job, and he had a little bit of what do you say?
A bit of luck. He had a bit of luck.
Of course,
Yeah, he did.
but he took all the good opportunities.
Let's just guide you through the grid then. Number 50, Giorgio Maggi for Hendrix Motorsport on pole. Alongside is number 66, Lassie Sorensen for Deckswet DF1. Row 2 of the grid, 24, the American Andre Castro for PK Car Sport in the car that won the race earlier on in the hands of Nicolo Rocca. And alongside is number 7, which is going to be Martin Tubeck. Of course, he is the sole Czech representative we've got on the grid. Row 3 of the grid, Advait Yoda for Cal Racing, and number 11, Vittorio Gorelli, who swaps over to PK Car Sport this weekend. The 4th row of the grid, number 2, Jesse Vartinen, another Scandinavian, alongside the Italian, number 9, Alessandro Bugatti. And then row 5 of the grid, 98, Eric Dodonka, another driver that's competing in both Elite 1 and Elite 2 in these hugely hot conditions. It has for company number 8, Nicolas Risitano. And the 6th row of the grid, which brings us to all of the cars that got through to Superpole, number 27, Pierluigi Veronesi, and alongside Veronesi is number 99, Justin Kuntz. The 13th position on the grid, row number 7, Nave Tala, number 12, alongside number 48, Myatt Snyder. First weekend, the American has not got through to Superpole, so he'll be hoping for better things. And then just to guide you through the rest of the grid, on the 8th row of the grid, number 77, your car that you were driving earlier on, Freddie Hemberg, and 33, Ben Kriener, 69, Michael Bleaky-Molan, and 23, Ian-Eric Varden. The penultimate row of the grid, 88, Eric Clement, and number 1, Thomas Krasinas, another car that had engine issues in qualifying, and it's taken Alex Caffey Racing a bit longer to get that car out, so we didn't see the car out in the Elite 1 race. And the final row of the grid is number 70, Mirko Schultes, and 54, Ariana Cassoli. So that gives you the grids, and there were a few surprises in there. For me, to see the number 48 Racing Engineering Ford of Myatt Snyder down in 14th position, not making Superpole, was a surprise for me.
Yeah, for me too. I thought that they had a little bit more speed in the 48 car, and also Myatt had done a good job so long in the season, and I thought that they could manage to be in the Superpole.
And Myatt's a busy guy as well, because just last weekend he was racing at Gateway International Circuit over in the States, where he finished in 10th place overall in the Gander Outdoors Truck Series. He finished 9th in stage 1 of that race. He was runner-up in stage 2. You know, he's a quick guy, and it's nice to see some of the Americans coming over and joining in the NASCAR family this side of the Atlantic.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I mean, it's good to see so many new faces and so many good new faces.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that as we spoke to each other before the live streaming was on, we talk about, I think that the championship this year is even harder than last year.
It's so open. I think Elite 1 and Elite 2, they are so open. And you make the very valid point about nice to see so many new drivers coming in. There are 22 cars on this grid. 15 of them are rookies in the championship, and many of them are very quick rookies.
Yeah, they are really, really quick.
Because what we did have, if memory serves me correctly, qualifying at Brands Hatch, Andre Castro, he qualified on pole in a quicker time than the Elite 1 qualifying session.
Yeah, that's the first time ever. It's insane. But I think, of course, Brands Hatch is giving you a better opportunity because it's a shorter track. We just have 10 minutes in Elite 1, and everyone is going on new tires, and maybe the teams did a little bit better job to adapt themselves with the tire pressure and the temperature, which gives a little bit advantage for the Elite 2 drivers. But it was really good.
Can I ask you a question? You don't have to give me the honest answer. Of course, for this weekend, you get 4 brand new General tyres. The other 4 are carried over from a previous race. You look at the weather forecast, it's due to be even hotter tomorrow. Tyres are surely this weekend, you're going to have to manage those tyres and not overdrive the car and drive to the pace that you know that there isn't going to be a big drop-off. Yeah.
It's going to be tough to get the tyres to manage the whole race tomorrow because the temperature and also there is a long distance. I mean, the lap is going to be 17 laps, and it's also that you have the temperature. So it's going to be hard to let them stay. And you need to think about it the first race and also the second race for this event.
So there we go at the front of the grid, the girls holding up Autodrom Most, round 7, Elite 2, as the grid is cleared. The Words have been uttered so that we can get the drivers to start their engines. And remember, for the Elite 2 division, it's a slightly shorter race for them. It was 17 laps for Elite 1. It's only 14 for Elite 2 because, of course, they get the extra 10 minutes qualifying. They also don't have to hang around on the grid as long as you guys do they?
No.
You look at the Scandinavian interest. You know, we've got some very strong championships in Scandinavia with the likes of V8 Thunder cars and the Camaro Cup. You know, so the sort of the embedded V8 culture of Americana is there. It's great to see. You know, not just you, but now so many other Scandinavians coming and joining in, whether they be Swedes, Danish, Finns, etc.
Yeah, thank you. It started when we in Memphis Racing started in Euro NASCAR because then the interest for this championship was so much bigger back home, and I know a couple of drivers from Sweden that wanted to come and join us, and I know there is guys from Finland that is looking at this series for next year. So I think we'll bring more Scandinavian to the championship next year, and I hope we can bring some new cool faces. Actually,
it would be nice if we could bring the championship to Scandinavia as well, wouldn't it?
I would love to. I mean, we have a couple of good racetracks in Finland and in Sweden, also in Denmark, which could spice this thing up a little bit more.
Well, let's hope so. It's not for us to decide, but it would be nice, wouldn't it? And also, you know, the Elite 2 drivers, whilst they don't have as long on the grid, in Elite 1, you also get the fans onto the grid, so you get the chance to interact with them as well. That must be good fun.
I mean, it's... I love to be in Elite 1 with all the fans and all the autograph sessions and to be the first driver to start the race weekend with the races, and also so it's fantastic. I mean, this is the first time here, and we had so great audience.
Well, it all started on Thursday. I wasn't here. I flew out Friday morning, but on Thursday you got to drive your race cars on the local roads into the town centre to interact with everybody.
That's so cool. That's so cool.
I saw your video.
Yeah, and I ride shotgun back home with Freddie in the car. That was so cool. Everyone was waving flags and the hands and everything. So it's so cool to be here and to have that opportunity to drive the cars through the town. So.
And that's what NASCAR is all about. Doesn't matter whether it's here in Europe or the other side of the Atlantic with all of the various series. We're all part of the NASCAR family. It's pure racing. It's all about bringing motorsport to the fans and the families and engaging with them.
Yeah, for sure. My dad was at Hockenheim the first time last year, and he was the first thing he said to everyone in the organization was, "This is so family atmosphere."
Yeah. It's great, and they're here in their thousands. The roads were all bunged up at 10 o'clock this morning with people trying to get in, and it's only the first day. It's going to be even busier, and sadly even hotter tomorrow. We only say that because we're sat in a rather warm commentary box with a fan, but all it's doing is blowing around warm air at the moment. It's not. Is it cooler than in the car in here?
It's a little bit cooler here than in the car, but it's.
You haven't got the race suit on and helmet. Yeah. So then Giorgio Maggi, remember, the number 50 car, the Hendricks Motorsport Ford that starts from pole position, is in the hands of the championship leader. He's had one win so far this year. That came at the first round that we had at Circuit Ricardo Tormo in Valencia. But more importantly, remember, that car is only on its second lap. It did an out lap from the pit lane, this rolling green flag lap with a new engine inside it. They've had no chance to test it really up through the rev range to check that everything is good. Fingers crossed. Hendricks are such a fantastic team, as all of them. But if he looks to driver's left, there is that deck swept number 66 machine in the hands of Lasse Sorensen. He has won 3 of the last 4 races. He has won 3 of the 4 races in which he's competed. The only one he didn't win was at Franciacorta in race number 2, where he finished in 3rd position. So he's the man that's got the momentum, isn't he, coming into this weekend?
Yeah, he has the pace, and he's the man to beat, even if Maggi is starting in pole position. But we are not supposed to cheer on someone right now. But anyway, I think that the Hendricks Motorsport with Maggi in the pole position and who has a new engine, they could be a fairy tale story.
Watch out for Andre Castro on row number 2. The American was struggling with an arm injury. It's his shifting arm, it's his right arm at Brands Hatch. He said to me earlier on, it's got even worse actually. He's really struggling with it. They've had to put something to cradle his arm to stop it getting worse.
Some tape.
Yeah, and alongside him is Martin Dubeck. Wouldn't it be a fantastic thing if the number 7 car finished on the podium at his home NASCAR Grand Prix? We will find out in 17 laps time. Buckle up, everybody. We're about to go green for the first time this weekend for the Elite 2 division of the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. The green flag flies. It's a good start by Giorgio Maggi, who's already being bump drafted almost by Andre Castro up towards turn number 1. You actually can't see Castro. He's so far alongside the pole sitter Giorgio Maggi. They head up towards turn number 1. Giorgio Maggi leads the pack. Lasse Sorensen slots himself through into second place. They're all treading very gingerly through the tight first couple of corners, but Sorensen comes out in second place still. All over the grass and all over the curbs is Eric de Donk, who's tumbled down through the field by the look of things, but through that first tight section, a bit like the Monza chicane, as we saw in Elite 1, everybody got through.
Yeah.
So it is Giorgio Maggi that leads the pack. We're now into the sweeping part of the circuit up towards turn number 10. Everybody has been saying that getting off 10 is so important to carry the momentum through 11 and 12. And the fastest corner that we've got, which is turn number 13, the next of the right-handers that they'll come up to, the top 3 getting away.
Yeah, they are building up a little bit of pace to Martin Dubeck, but we'll see. Maybe he have done a different strategy to manage to get the tires to come into the window a little bit later on in the race, but it looks like Maggi is going to put up a good pace in the beginning, maybe try to get us momentum and space from Sorensen.
I was talking to Ben Kriener, who joined me for your race earlier on, all about tyre pressures, and do you put them really low in a hot day to know that the car will get better? So you lose time in the beginning but then have a reasonable car underneath you, or do you put them where they ought to be and you know the car's going to drop off? For the moment though, Giorgio Maggi is gaining. There's contact, there's noise, there's gravel, and we've lost somebody into the gravel trap, and that looks as though it's the number 9 car that's gone off. Alessandro Bugatti is into the gravel trap. Now, is he far enough in to prevent a safety car?
Maybe a safety car will come out, but
we shall wait and see. Up towards the braking area, 1 lap completed as trying to get up the inside. Number 11 there, squeezing his way through. Vittorio Garelli with a good move up the inside of Martin Dubeck. The car behind having to take the shortcut. I think that was Advite Dioda, wasn't it? So that was the Cal Racing car that Mauro Trioni drives in Elite 1. And for Advite Dioda, 3rd in the championship, a mistake early doors there.
Yeah, he managed to keep his position even if he needs to go through the escape road.
Yeah, so he just about, I don't think he really gained any advantage either, but yeah, he will
I tried that last day. It wasn't so good to take that escape road. It was too many turns.
A few of them found out in Elite 1 with all of the oil down there as well.
Yeah, it's even worse right now, yeah, for sure.
So there is Giorgio Maggi looking to try and pull away. Lasse Sorensen trying to stick with him. Andre Castro in 3rd. This is a battle for 4th and 5th place, with now Vittorio Garelli, the number 11 PK Car Sport car, through and ahead of the Hendricks Motorsport number 7 in the hands of the local star.
We see there's a safety car, I think. We haven't heard anything, but it looks like the cars are slowing down right now, so the safety car is coming out.
So certainly looked as though Alessandro Bugatti's car is not far enough out of harm's way. And I suppose it's at turn number 20 as well, which is sort of, it's a heavy braking area, isn't it, as well, turn number 20. So
it's really easy to lose your brakes if you have been a little bit too hard on the curbs. So you manage to get the brake pads floating away a little bit from the brake discs. It's really easy to put the braking pedal to the bottom, and then you don't have any brakes. So maybe something like that happened, but yeah, the safety car is out.
Yeah, and Alessandro Bugatti, very much a rookie in this championship, cut his teeth in FIA CIK karts, was part of the FIA Karting Academy as well prior to that. But so far he has been in for the full season, has Alessandro Bugatti. His best result came last time out at Brands Hatch, where in the first of the 2 races he was in 6th position. He has had another top 10 finish though in the second of the 2 races at Brands, but other than that he's been outside of the top 10 in each one of the races. And after the gravelly moments, he is of course now off the lead lap, and he's going to have to hope. I don't think, by the sounds of it, it didn't sound as though there was any damage to the car. It sounded as though he just skidded into the gravel, but we won't know until we see it on camera. It looks as though, what have you got? Jesse Vartianen, so the Alex Caffey
he's
number
there
2.
too.
Oh, he is, yes.
Right.
Right, and there is contact, right, yes. So that explains a lot, doesn't it? Exactly what happened, I don't know, but damage to the rear of the number 9. Let's just have a quick look.
You can see something coming here.
There's Lasse Sorensen. There is Andre Castro, and then a couple of cars further back. We'll
Now
then
something
see.
is going to happen down
So
there.
there
Yeah,
they go, yeah.
you can see Jesse Vartainen and Alessandro is coming into the gravel trap there.
I think both of them after the same piece of tarmac, and
Yeah.
didn't quite work, did it? So
No.
a fair amount of damage, but superficial damage to the number 9. So safety car will need to get both of those cars out of harm's way. We saw only one safety car period in the Elite 1 race, which meant that we did finish under safety car. In stark contrast, it started at safety car at the very beginning of this race, so at least we can get things cleared and get some good racing under our belt. The top 3 were trying to get away,
Yeah.
so if you set the car up to be good early on and you get the safety car, that's not a good thing because you can't get away. If you set the car up to get stronger later on, it's probably not as much of a problem, is it, the safety
No.
car coming out?
No, it's not. But maybe you have tried to get the car to be good too much in the end,
Yeah.
so you don't get the advantage. So you don't have
hit the sweet spot
those
quite in
last
time,
laps
yeah.
that you need to have. And maybe it's good right now if you want to have the car to be fast in the beginning. It could be good to have a safety car because if you can take it really slow,
Yeah.
you don't build up the tire pressure too fast, and then you maybe can do your thing and manage to put a little bit of gap.
So we may have a little bit of reordering that needs doing because we go back, as you well know from your race earlier on, to the order on the lap prior to the safety car coming out. So there might be a little bit of a shuffle in the order. Giorgio Maggi leads Lassie Sorensen. So it's Ford from Chevrolet. It's Chevy's also in 3rd and 4th place. Andre Castro and Vittorio Garelli at the wheel of the 2 PK Car Sport cars. Should be there in 3rd and 4th position. I think there's been, Martin Dubeck has sort of got in between the pair of them. There's also damage. Now that is Pierluigi Veronesi, isn't it,
Yep,
at the wheel
it is.
of the number 27 car that clearly has got involved in something early doors. Again, I didn't see anything.
No, I couldn't even. But something has happened in his left front, so maybe it's not so bad. It could look worse than it is, but maybe I have something struggling.
In these warm conditions, is it better to be circulating at full race pace whilst everything then becomes warmer inside the car? You get a bit more air coming in, or is it better to be going around a little bit slower where the car cools off but you get warmer because you're not getting the airflow through?
No.
What is there anything that's better, fast or slow, just to cool down as a driver?
If it goes too slow, you don't get any air into the car. Some of the guys have put in some hose to bring in some air to the driver. That always push in a little bit, but if it go a little faster, you can put out your hand to try to squeeze in some air to the car. I don't used to do that on when I'm racing, but if the safety car is bringing up the speed, then you can do it.
That's exactly what I do under safety car. I wind the window down on the car because our cars have to run. It's a standard road car almost. Turn the heating off that was on full heat to draw the engine out of the temperature bay. Turn it onto cold, put my hand out the window and try and cool off. So it looks as though, recovery of cars happening. We've got one of the questions has come in off the internet, Alexander, and the question is, please keep them coming in as well. How, you were talking about we're setting the car up to be good at the end. How exactly do you set the car up to be good at the end of a race?
Yeah, it's often the tire pressure. You try to manage to have a car that is a little bit faster in the end instead of the beginning. So it's often the tire pressure you try to work with.
Because there's a temperature parameter and a tire pressure parameter where the tire works better, and if you start with a lower pressure, it means the tire eventually gets up to that pressure in the sweet spot. If you start with a higher pressure, the tire and pressure builds too much and goes beyond the sweet spot. It's trying to get that middle ground, isn't it?
I hope that gives the answer on the question.
Okay, and other questions coming in as well. Are there any oval tracks in the series? Yes, there is. And in 2 weeks' time, we are there. We are at Venray in the Netherlands. We had last year, we visited Tours in France for the very short oval that we've had there and have raced that several times in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. But it's nice to return to Venray. And we're talking before we went live on the stream. And that's another circuit that for Memphis Racing and you is a brand new circuit. So you're sort of having to have quite a steep learning curve in 2 weeks' time in the Netherlands.
Yeah, for sure, and I don't think we have so much to go on from last year when we were Tours racing, because the oval in Tours was a really small track, a really short. So when we're going to Wenray, it's going to be a big oval, which is nothing we have done before in the whole team actually. So it's going to be really interesting to be there and to see if we have some aces in the sleeve, but I don't think so right now. But it's going to be really interesting.
You never know. You just never know until you get there. Fingers crossed we'll get the weather as well. If it's half as good as it is this weekend, we're in for a good weekend at Venray. And I suppose, you know, it's a different format. We usually see a race for Elite 1 and Elite 2 on a Saturday, and the same on the Sunday. At Venray, Elite 2 have just one single race on the Saturday. You have one long race on the Sunday. What is it, 100 laps, is it?
Yeah, 100 laps. And I have heard that people are going to be really exhausted after 50 laps there. So looking forward and hope the heat is going to be there too. But no, actually, I think I have got some good inputs from people who are at this racetrack, who has some experience from Wenray. So I hope we can manage to learn some things from them and put it on Wenray.
Well, let's hope so, because on the Sunday it's a really busy day for you, because you have sort of the practice in the morning, you have qualifying, and then you have the race. So it's a busy day, as it is for Elite 2 on the Saturday.
Yeah, for sure.
Another question that's coming in, and I actually don't know the answer to it because I've not looked at the paperwork. And the fastest times that are set in today's race give us the grid for tomorrow's race. So your fastest lap time from race earlier on today, where does that put you on the starting grid for tomorrow?
It's put me in P6 tomorrow.
So that's not bad.
No, that's good.
You're pleased with that?
Yeah, thank you. It's really good. I mean, we started P13, and I had a fight almost the whole race, and even I managed to put in a lap that was so good that I can start P6 tomorrow. And if you look at the Elite 1 race from today, you see a lot of things can happen. So I hope the same for me tomorrow.
And I suppose that's a strategy that some of these Elite 2 drivers will be employing in this race. If they're stuck up behind somebody, they won't just keep behind them. They'll drop back on some laps so that they can then really push, get the quick lap time in, ready for tomorrow, and then start to attack to try and get the position in this race.
For sure. You can. I saw that on the recap from our race, that Alan Day was out, he got a puncture, maybe he was into the pit box, get a new set of rear tires, and then he tried to push on for a good lap time for tomorrow. But then we saw his rear end with the rear wing was flowing off the car, so maybe he was not able to put in a good lap for tomorrow. But that's good with the series. You can, even if you lost the race today, you can be in the race tomorrow.
That's it. Yeah, it doesn't ruin the whole weekend, does
exactly.
it? Get a lap time in. If you go off on the first lap, not so good. But if you get at least a half decent lap time in, and I suppose the other thing is that the points go all the way down as well, don't they? The points go down to 40th position. So even Alan Day today, with 24 cars was it on the grid, even if you finished in 24th place, that's still 13 championship points.
Yeah. And you need to score points in every race.
It's always the case. Doesn't matter whether we're looking at the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, where you've cut your teeth in V8 Thunder cars and the Camaro Cup. Consistency is what wins you championships.
Yeah, for sure.
So one more lap at least behind the safety car. We could certainly see that Alessandro Bugatti's car had been dragged out of the gravel and moved from turn number 20 up towards almost the entrance to turn number 21, where the pit entry is. Quite what is happening at the moment to Jesse Vartianen's car, we will wait and see. Also in the pit lane, well spotted, Alexander Graf, is the sister car to that as well. So the second of the two Alex Caffey Motorsport Fords is in the pit lane as well. Now that is the car that also had its engine changed as well after qualifying, and that one has headed into the pit lane, hasn't it?
Yeah, look like something is wrong with it because they haven't managed to do any kind of laps here.
So let's hope that Alex Caffey Motorsport have a substantively better day tomorrow, because it's been a tough day for them. Certainly this race has been tough for them because both of their cars at the moment are not circulating. So there is number 99. That is the car in the hands of Justin Kuntz, who is another driver who we have historically seen racing sometimes in both Elite 1 and Elite 2. Not this weekend though. He shares the car with Ellen Law, and Justin Kuntz is sitting, where is he? He's inside the top 10 the way things currently stand. We'll just pick out the various leaders whilst we see the Jesse Vartinen car being hoisted away. Giorgio Maggi leads the race. He is the leading rookie as well, because we have a separate trophy for the rookie trophy for drivers entered into the Elite 2 Championship in their first season of racing. In fact, it's rookies 1, 2 and 3 at the moment, so the top 3 overall gives us the rookie podium potentially. Yeah. Giorgio Maggi, Lasse Sorensen and Andre Castro. Case in point, me saying lots of rookies, lots of quick rookies.
Yeah, lots of really good rookies.
Down in, something like 15th position, Michael Bleekie-Molen will be the leading Legend Trophy driver. Now, the Legend Trophy drivers, if you're not familiar with them, bit of debris on the track we need to sort out first, are for bronze-graded drivers, 40 years plus, at the beginning of the season that enter the Elite 2 Championship. So he is leading that at the moment, and if you were to hang on to it, that would be his second win of the season in the Legend Trophy. And it's nice to see, you know, Michael Bleekie-Molen and the Bleekie-Molen family join this championship. They've been around motorsport crumbs for some years, to say the least. Michael is the oldest driver we've got in the championship as well, 69 years of age, but experience all the way, isn't it, when it comes to these things?
Yeah, it's good. And I mean, look at yesterday when the free practices, it was so good from the Bleekie-Molen family. They managed to be in the top for the both practices, even Elite 1 and Elite 2. So the experience pay off.
It does, yeah, and we'll see whether he can hang on to it. I think a few of you were also commenting on social media and on YouTube. Cone Guy, we saw Cone Guy at Tour last year. You're giggling at the mention of Cone Guy here in the commentary box. And is Cone Guy going to be back for Venray? Some of you are asking. We don't know at the moment. We don't know. We need to
call him. Yeah, we need to find him and call him.
I think we locked him in a cupboard after
There
Tour last year.
girl.
No, it would be great to see Cone Guy back. We need to talk to his agent, don't we? See if we can have him.
Yeah.
If you didn't watch it last year, the cone rule was an interesting rule, really, on the oval. What was it? The lap prior to the last lap under safety car, you had to decide with a cone in the middle of the circuit whether you wanted to take the inside line or the outside line for the restart. And what it did mean is it shuffled the order, because maybe the top 6 would all take the inside line to protect that inside line. Safety car will be in at the end of this lap. But if you were in 7th place and you took the outside line, all of a sudden you could find yourself at the front for the restart. It was a really good format. I liked it.
It was genius. I love that. I love that. It was so good, and it was really fun, because you couldn't really know what the other guys in front of you was supposed to do. And I mean, it was like if you were from 7 or position downwards, that was your possibility. If you were like P6, then it was no idea to go on the outside. Actually,
it was worth the gamble, the roll of the dice. Yeah, the roll of the dice. So we'll keep you posted on that, but it would be good to see that back out there. But it's out of our hands. Safety car will be in this lap, so you can see everybody now getting side by side, door handle to door handle with the car to your left or your right, bumper to bumper with the car ahead and behind as well. And you do not break out of those 2 lines until you cross the start-finish line. So the green flag might wave, but you've still got to stay in those 2 lines until you cross the start-finish line. And I think that message, certainly this year, has got through to all of the drivers.
Yeah, it looks so much better this year. And it's much more restricted all the way through.
And they will be looking at all of the restarts. We saw the start for the Elite 1 division under investigation in the early stages. The thumbs up was given and everything was okay. Let's hope that everything will be okay for this one, because we are about to get things back underway. Lap 7 of the 14, it says safety car will peel its way right and into the pit lane. It has already done so. So it is now up to Giorgio Maggi to control the pace. Lasse Sorensen is going to have to try it again on the run up towards turn number 1, or might Andre Castro in 3rd place be able to unlock the door and squeeze his way through. Martin Dubeck is back up to 4th as a result of the reordering. So they have reordered the field and they head up towards the start-finish line, the half-distance point of this race in reality. Safety car back in. We get racing back underway for the Elite 2 division. It is a good start again from Giorgio Maggi. Clearly that new engine is working beautifully well at this stage, and the Swiss driver, the championship leader, is going to lead on the run up towards turn 1. Can Lasse Sorensen brave it out around the outside? Not this time. He's going to lose out to Andre Castro, who for PK Car Sport again got a very good start, and the American is up into 2nd. Sorensen has been compromised through that corner. There's more contact further back. There's another car that has gone into the gravel trap. And Sorensen is fighting back, actually. He's got himself back ahead of Castro. So,
And Deodar Alvarez is taking a couple of positions.
who was that?
Deodar.
Oh, Advite Deodar, yeah. So, yeah, good work there from the London-based Indian, driving the number 31 for Cal Racing. So, Lassie Sorensen, I thought he had lost out to Andre Castro. He certainly had at the first part of the chicane. Not quite sure how he managed to get back ahead.
I don't know.
Either way, it was a good retaliation. And as we saw, the front three are getting away again. So, Martin Dubeck, again at this restart, struggling, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's back in fourth again. He was taken by Deodar, but he managed to take his fourth place back.
So, I think you're right. I think Dubeck's car may well be sorted out to try and work his way back up through the order. So maybe that car has been set up subtly differently. So we shall wait and see. So over the section of the circuit towards turn number 19 and turn number 20 they will come. It looks as though Advite Deodar is trying one up the inside of Martin Dubeck, who sees him coming. Good move there, puts Advite Deodar through. Dubeck tries to fight back at the next corner. There was a squeal of tyres, but nothing obvious as to what happened. And Advite Deodar, that was a good move, wasn't it? Dubeck fought back, but he's hung on to it, the Indian. He's up to fourth. Down the straight, Martin Dubeck under pressure from number 99, Justin Kuntz on the brakes. Is Kuntz going to squeeze his way through? He's up the inside line. It's all going to be tight. Oh, not quite. But good driving from everybody, so they didn't bump into each other there. And Justin Kuntz himself is under pressure from one of the race winners from Valencia, Nicolas Risitano, at the wheel of number 8 car. Good fight, that one.
It's really good. It's really good.
Locked brakes.
Looks like Ariana was spinning around a little bit there.
Right, so that would be the sister Cal Racing car to this number 31 car of Advite Deodar, who is under pressure from the Czech at his home NASCAR Grand Prix. Martin Dubeck. They turn their way out of the hairpin. They're on the lead three. Now,
the three guys are taking advantage for the fighting back.
They are. They're evenly matched as well, aren't they, at this stage? So, Giorgio Maggi, I mean, I can't speak highly enough of Hendricks as a team, purely by what they've done to even get that car on the grid.
It's really good, it's really good.
So there is the number 24 car of Andre Castro. Whilst he might be struggling with his arm, it'll be one of those injuries, I suspect, that you don't feel it when you're in the car. As soon as you get out, that's when it reminds you that you've got an injury.
Exactly. And he has the shortest recovery. I mean, for us Elite 1 drivers, we race in the morning this year, this day. And tomorrow we will race in the evening, so we have more time to prepare ourselves and the cars for the next race.
I suppose he'll, in conjunction with the team, get some physio on that arm as well. PK Car Sport will have somebody here that will look at that. They'll massage the drivers generally afterwards to make sure that they're nice and supple and ready to go. Some of them have massages before the race, but yeah, he will be working with the team physician to make sure that he is in a fit state, or as good a state as he can be. A bit of walking wounded, isn't he, really, this weekend? And I suppose when the next race is only 2 weeks away, it doesn't give you any recovery time, does it? August and the break in the calendar is the best time to try and get himself fit for the rest of the year, Andre Castro. Yeah,
for sure. It's too short to do anything between this race and Wenray. And especially for us that lives in Sweden, we are not going to take our cars back home. We're going to be here at Most to take care of the cars, and then going to Wenray to take care of the cars if there is anything more that we need to do.
And for some of the teams as well, certainly Hendricks and the car that's leading, Giorgio Maggi, in just a week's time, 2 weeks' time, he'll be heading to the Goodwood Festival of Speed as the prize for Hendricks leading the team's championship at the halfway point of the season. Giorgio Maggi will be going to race up the hill at Goodwood. That's a fantastic prize, isn't it, for a young driver?
I'm jealous, for sure.
I don't think there'll be a driver that's on the grid in either Elite 1 or Elite 2 this weekend that wouldn't want to do that. So yeah, that's the prize for being the leader of the team's championship at this point of the season. Giorgio Maggi leads this race as well. We are concentrating on what to find further back. The top three still together. Here comes Advite Deodar for Cal Racing. His Chevrolet SS sitting there in fourth position, but under pressure from the Ford of Martin Dubeck from Hendricks that sits behind. Then it is Justin Kuntz ahead of Nicolas Risitano, and then Vittorio Gorelli, who has switched from Racers Motorsport to PK's Car Sport for this weekend, and he's actually behind what would have been one of his former teammates at the moment. Can he squeeze his way through? He's got the inside line and takes the place away.
Yep. Looked like he's going fast into the first corner, but he made it.
Yeah.
That was a good move.
Anchored it up. I was listening to earlier on the braking points that some of the drivers were talking about for turn number 1 there. Considering the terminal speed you're carrying,
Yep.
they're very late on the brakes at that point.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, you're passing 150 meters and then you brake, so it's really late.
And in a car with no driver aids at all, no traction control, no ABS, it's a difficult car to drive as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Physical car, particularly in these warm conditions.
Yeah, it's you in the car and it's really hot inside there, so you need to adapt everything to be as good as is possible be. Manage to take care of the tires for a race tomorrow, and as you said, you have no kind of
Driver aids.
driving. Exactly.
Sliding the car around there, missing the apex in the lead of the race was Giorgio Maggi. That was turn number 16 where he missed the apex. So Lasse Sorensen will see that. There are waved yellow flags on the approach towards turn number 20. So one of the overtaking opportunities is not available at the moment. Can't exactly see what's bringing about those yellow flags, but it certainly looks as though the gap first to second had been closing. On this lap though, Giorgio Maggi looks as though he potentially is on for the fastest lap of the race. He did that last time through, 1 minute 42.2, but yeah, this time through it's actually Lasse Sorensen that sets the fastest lap of the race, 1:42.490. The fight is on for the lead.
Yeah, it is. It's really good, and we missed out, but Justin Kuntz have overtaken Martin Dumbek on that lap. But you can see that Lasse Sorensen is putting some pressure onto Giorgio Maggi, and maybe they have done the homework that they want to be a little bit faster in the end of the race, even if this race is going to be a short race, because the green flag was waving on lap 7 or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a short one, but we'll see if Maggi is holding on to this.
Has he got enough? He's got enough for the moment. Out of turn number 10 up towards a small kick, turn number 11, then they flick left at turn number 12 before the braking area and the fastest corner on the circuit, turn number 13. It might be tighter than some of the other corners, but you've built the momentum by that point. 2 for the lead of the race. Giorgio Maggi, once a race winner so far this year. In second position, Lasse Sorensen, 3 times a race winner so far this year. And again, Giorgio Maggi looking as though he's neat and tidy and potentially on for his best lap of the race, but potentially on for the fastest lap of the race is the car that we knew would come on strong towards the end of it. Number 7, Martin Dumbek, may well be on for the fastest lap of the race this time through. So the lead 2 getting away. It doesn't look as though Andre Castro in 3rd place has got anything to offer at this stage. He's really fallen away, hasn't he, from the leading pair, and I think is settling in for a podium potentially. Dioda in 4th, Justin Kuntz in 5th place, Martin Dumbek in 6th place. Is the number 7 car going to post the fastest lap of the race? Lap number 12 of the 14, as in towards the braking area for turn number 1 and turn number 2 come the leading pair. Does Dumbek set the fastest lap of the race? No, he doesn't. He just misses out actually on that lap, but Giorgio Maggi at the moment potentially on for win number 2, and there's just a lap and a bit to go, so can he do it, considering they've only just changed the engine in this car?
Yep.
Wow, what a performance.
It's really good from the Hendricks, and I'm a little bit wondering if it's possible to put on some good laps, because we have the yellow flag in the end of the track, but we'll see. I mean, if it's yellow all the time, you sometimes you need to put in some good laps, so you
Let's have a quick look round through the kink up towards turn number 13. They will work their way now. The gap first to second has come down by another 1/10 of a second or so. We've lost another car out on circuit, and it is one of your cars, I fear.
Yeah.
Ian Eric Varden has gone missing somewhere, hasn't he, on that
And
lap?
also Nava Taylor is in the pit, it looks like, on the screen here.
Yeah, so we've lost the Finn, and into the pit lane comes the Israeli, Avitala, who was just recently graduated over in America. Still those waved yellow flags there at turn number 19, so potentially one of the overtaking opportunities is still not available, but it looks as though it is going to be on to what will be lap number 14 this time through. Giorgio Maggi, the championship leader, is he going to grab his second win in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series? There's only 3 drivers on the grid this weekend that have won a previous race in the Elite 2 division that are still racing in it. Giorgio Maggi, Lassi Sorensen and Nicolas Risitano, but Maggi made a small mistake there, didn't he?
Can see he's in under pressure right now from Lassi Sorensen, so it's going to be a really interesting last couple of laps we're going to see here.
Yeah, he just snatched the brake there, which meant that he lost the apex at the first part of the chicane, which meant that he was slower through the second part. The Dane is coming, Lassi Sorensen for Dexwet TF1. And is there anything that Giorgio Maggi can do about it? For the moment, he's hanging on. Up towards turn number 10 they will come. Sorensen takes a wider line in to try and get more momentum on the exit.
And he's onto it, and you can see Maggi is going a little bit shorter into the corners to try to do a little bit harder for Sorensen to pass him.
Is he going to be able to do it though? Because of course we've had those yellow flags up at turn number 18 and turn number 19 for the last few laps. They're just heading up towards turn number 15 now, which is the braking area for the right-hander underneath the bridge up towards turn number 16, and time and opportunities are running out here for Lassi Sorensen to try and make it 3 on the bounce. Back-to-back wins at Brands Hatch. I don't think he's going to be able to do it here. Have we still got those yellow flags? We do.
We do have them, and Maggi is super strong in the second sector. I think he gained that position and the gap in turn number 15, where it looks like he's really fast.
Yeah, he's really fast. He's been able to just ensure that he's done enough in this one, and considering that car had a blown engine in the Elite 1 race early on, what a great way to repay the Hendricks Motorsport team and all of the hard work that they have done. Giorgio Maggi comes through to claim the win. Lassi Sorensen in second place. Andre Castro, despite the injury, in third position. Advek Diodar's going to finish in fourth place. Justin Kutz ran wide at the very final corner, caused damage to the front end of his car, but he will come through and finish in fifth position. And Martin Dubeck at his home NASCAR Grand Prix finishes in sixth place. Rookies first, second and third, and the leading driver in the Legend Trophy in the end for those 40 years and over that are in this championship. Eric de Donker, the Belgian driver, claiming the victory. So Giorgio Maggi, we didn't know if he was going to be on the grid. He made it onto the grid. He's won the race.
Yeah, that's about a fairy tale story. That was a really good job from the Hendricks and from Giorgio Maggi, who was under pressure, but he managed to keep his head down and do the job. Starting from pole position with a broken car just a couple of minutes before the start that's a really good job. Really good job.
It is a fairy tale end to the day for Hendricks Motorsport, who will be pleased with that. They'll also be really pleased that the car, in reality, what was almost a test session for them to make sure everything was okay. They know they can prepare the car for tomorrow and hopefully get an early night, because everything appears to be good.
Yeah.
Lassi Sorensen has failed to finish off the podium in the 5 races. He is new to the championship. Yeah. He's done a chunk. You'll know him from what he's been doing over in Scandinavia there in your championships, but 5 races in, 5 podiums in what is a very competitive championship and a very unpredictable Elite 2.
For sure. And he has done a really good job. I mean, putting on the car on P2 and also keep it to the finish line is a good job. And I mean, 5 races, 5 podiums. That's
it takes some doing in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, whether it be in Elite 1 or in Elite 2. And also, well done to Andre Castro, the American driver, for finishing in 3rd place. We know he is really struggling with his right arm. Was doing at Brands Hatch, as he said. It's got worse since then. It's his shifting arm as well, which means that he's struggled with it. They've had to adapt the car for him. So through gritted teeth and the pain to finish on the podium.
Yeah, it was really good, and maybe he think that he was able to give the other guys a little bit of a gap to just take it a bit slower and thinking about his arm instead of being in trouble with Advek Diodar.
Yeah, that's his 4th podium of the year, Andre Castro. He's had 3 seconds. That's a 3rd place for him, and Advek Diodar just misses out at the wheel of that yellow Cal Racing Chevrolet SS on another podium for him. So unfortunately it's just 1 podium this season for Advek Diodar, but again, consistency. There is your car, front
it's
puncture.
A front puncture, yeah,
for Ian Eric Varden, who has been very, very quick in the Legend Trophy this
Yeah.
year, but he's missed out. But it does mean it's a first win in the Legend Trophy for Eric de Doncker. Just to confirm the results then, number 50, Giorgio Maggi for Hendricks Motorsport and his Ford claim their second win of the season. And in second place, it is number 66 for Deck Sweat Racing, the Chevy of Lasse Sorensen. It's another Chevy in third place, number 24, Andre Castro for PK Car Sport. And it's another Chevy in fourth place, which was Advait Dioda. Fifth went the way of Justin Kuntz. In sixth place, it was Martin Dubeck. Seventh was Vittorio Gorelli. And eighth, ninth, and 10th was Nicholas Risitano, Freddie Hamburg, and Mayat Snyder. After that, in 11th place, Eric de Doncker was the first of the drivers home in the Legend Trophy. So there is victory lane. There is Giorgio Maggi. And, well, the Swiss driver who was leading the championship by just 4 points from Vittorio Gorelli coming into this race, with Gorelli finishing down in what is 7th position. That will net him 30 points, which means that the gap has grown by 10, 14 points in the lead, subject to official confirmation and me getting my maths right. Giorgio Maggi will be in the championship heading into tomorrow, and of course that is round number 7 of 14. We are at the halfway point of this season now.
Yeah, we are. So, and in the end, we have two races, which is in the semi-finals with double of the points. But we are in the middle of the season right now.
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? Because you've got two middle points of the season. You've got the middle point where you get to that number of races have taken place, that number of races still to go. But if you look at the total points available, the halfway point of the season is after this weekend, isn't it?
It is.
It's strange. It's a really unusual one.
You need to be good at math.
Which I'm not. Well, I did pass at school, but yeah. There is our Swiss flag being held high. Giorgio Maggi with a huge cheer from the team. That will mean so much to them as well, that their man started from pole, not even knowing whether 5 minutes before the race got underway, whether he'd be on the grid following the engine problems and the blown engine in the Elite 1 division. And what a way to end the race. Big old hugs all around. We will grab some reaction from Giorgio Maggi very, very shortly as well. And remember, we will also be posting short clips on social media as well, certainly with the top 3 as well. So with not just Giorgio Maggi, with Lasse Sorensen and with Andre Castro. We'll also catch up with our Legend Trophy winner, which is Eric de Doncker. So out of the car is already our race winner. Off comes the crash helmet, the mandatory head and neck support, the hands device as it's known. Out come the earbuds as well, which give him all of that information that's coming from the spotters, who here at Autodrom Most can only see half of the circuit. And the fans, I think, have enjoyed what they've seen so far this weekend from the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. Lots still going on off circuit to keep them entertained, and more support races will be coming up. So, careful, the helmet almost fell on the ground there. That would not be good.
No.
But winner's hat is on. Was commentator's curse strikes there. Off comes the winner's hat. Giorgio Maggi pops it back on, and hopefully in a few moments' time we can grab a word with him. It is his second win in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series after a win at round 1 of the championship. Well, it's a win at round 7 of the championship as well. He's grabbed a drink, so let's hand downstairs to Victory Lane. Giorgio Maggi is about to have a chat with Andre.
Giorgio Maggi, what a story. After the engine failure in the Elite 1, now you are the winner of the Elite 2 race. How do you feel?
Yeah, after the tragic with Loris, the guys managed just to pull it in a minute. And it ran, although not completely perfect. Although it was a miracle, because that's one reason I love these guys, because nobody asked a question, can we make it? Just did it, and it worked out.
So, what were your feelings 1 hour before the race? It was not clear if you can start or not. What were your feelings?
It was very mixed. I know I'm working with professionals and I can do it, but still it's a hell of a lot of work to do. And it was a little bit mixed.
All right, it's your second win in the Elite 2 and you're still the championship leader. What's on now?
Yeah, pretty happy. It was extremely hot in the car, especially the pedals. My feet are burning. Yeah, I'm really happy, because I was really worried that the car may not have run the first race today. So it's a big relief, especially after I had some problems with the throttle during the race. And Sørensen catched up a few times pretty quick again, because I had those problems. And it was very, very stressful.
All right, thank you very much, Giorgio Maggi, your Elite 2 winner.
Fantastic to hear from Giorgio Maggi there in victory lane for what was a very exciting Elite 2 division race. They'll be back out tomorrow, but let's look at some of the action. When the lights went out, it was Giorgio Maggi who took up the lead of the race. Lasse Sorensen coming under pressure from Andre Castro on the first corner, but it was just going to be the Dane that came out ahead of the American, who was there in third place. Eric Dodonka ran rather wide coming out of the corner, the driver who ultimately came through to take the Legend Trophy win, but dropped down through the order as a result of the gravelly moment. As they came up towards the end of the early part of the race, round through the final couple of corners, contact and off and out of the race, we saw two cars go, one of which was Alessandro Bugatti, the other one was Jesse Vartinen. The incident between the pair brought out the safety car, while both of their cars were recovered from the gravel trap, and with not a great deal of damage to the Alex Caffey racing car. There was more work to be done for Alessandro Bugatti before tomorrow's race. The safety car came in. It was a good restart from Giorgio Maggi. And briefly through into second place was Andre Castro heading up towards turn number 1, but coming out of the corner, he struggled to get the power down, and Lasse Sorensen was instantly through to grab second place away, as offered into the gravel went Pierluigi Veronesi. So Sorensen was back up to second, Castro was down to third, and a great fight was going on for fourth place between Advait Diodar, Martin Dubeck, the number 99 car of Justin Kuntz, Nicolas Risitano, and the car of Vittorio Gorelli, who'd moved over to PK Carsport for this weekend. A front puncture saw Ian-Eric Varden out of a potential victory in the Legend Trophy, and Martin Dubeck, the only Czech driver in the field, the number 7 car, was under pressure. Vittorio Gorelli eventually managed to squeeze his way through and past Nicolas Risitano, and towards the end of the race, Giorgio Maggi, with the new engine underneath the bonnet of the number 50 Hendricks Motorsport Ford, seemed to be struggling, and it allowed Lasse Sorensen to close up in the early part of the lap. However, the key to the victory was the middle sector for the Swiss driver, and his number 50 Ford Mustang just opened up enough of a gap to hang on to his second victory of the 2019 season and bring the number 50 Hendricks Motorsport Ford into the victory lane. Delight for him, delight for the team, and of course it means at this halfway point of the season he leads the championship. So a fantastic race for Giorgio Maggi. Hendricks Motorsport, even to get the car to the finish, it would have felt like a win. To finish on the podium would have been an absolute delight, but to claim the win, they must be ecstatic, Alexander Graf.
They must be, and I mean, even if they didn't grab the win in the first race, which looks like Laurie's race, but there's a little bit of what do you say? They get a little bit back from the first race, and Georgie did a fantastic job, and the Hendricks that make the race together and make the win was something to give back to the whole team.
And yeah, they'll be really pleased with that. The podium celebrations will head there very shortly. The drivers will do. We won't be showing the podium celebrations. We will be cutting the stream very, very shortly. But what a start to the weekend for Giorgio Maggi and the Hendricks Motorsport crew. Thank you for joining me in the commentary box, Alexander. Sorry, it's a bit different to Hockenheim and rather warm, but thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you for having me, and it was nice to be in the commentary box, even if it's quite hot.
It is rather warm, but as you said, it's cooler than the car, so that's a good thing.
So that's good enough.
So there is the victory lane. The podium presentations will not be on the stream, but we can catch up with the drivers on social media. But that's all for today from Autodrom Most. We will be back out tomorrow as well with more racing to come. Tune in tomorrow, 10 o'clock in the morning, Central European summertime. You set your alarms nice and early if you're watching in the States, 4 a.m. Eastern summertime. But from us here, all at Autodrom Most, thank you for joining us. We'll see you back here tomorrow for round 8 of the championship. Goodbye. Good morning and welcome to Autodromo di Franciacorta. For round 6 of the 2000. Welcome to Circuit Solder for the final round. The lights go out, the green flag flies. It's all very tight up towards turn 1. Oh, it's close and there's contact. They're side by side. When the checkered flag falls, and the race is done. There's always time for celebrations.